Good afternoon, everybody, and welcome to a brand new week. Welcome to a brand new edition of Dodgers Territory. I am your host, Alanna Rizzo. That is our pal over from Friar Territory, Kyle Glaser. Great to have him with us today. Clint Pasillas is on assignment, so he will be back with us on Thursday. Welcome to the show, everybody. Make sure you rate us 5 stars, like and subscribe, do all of the things, not just for Dodger Territory, but be fair, do it for Friar Territory as well, as Dodger Territory creeps up on 10,000 subscribers. Kyle, great to be with you. Let's get into it. Let's talk about the big ticket. All right, we're going to talk a lot about the San Diego Padres and why they are certainly a contender in the NL West. But I want to give a little bit of love, as we always do here with the Dodgers. And let's give some appreciation to Mookie Betts. Kyle, of course, when you think of the Dodgers, you think of Shohei Ohtani, you think of Freddie Freeman, but you have to think about Mookie Betts. And where do you think his walk-off home run on the ring night ranks in terms of Mookie as a Dodger?
Certainly top 3 when you consider the context after being sick, losing 20 pounds to come out 2 bombs, including a walk-off. One of the more remarkable single-game performances I can remember from his career, which is saying something because he's had a lot of absolutely incredible moments. I still think the top moment for me of Mookie Betts in a Dodgers uniform was the 2020 World Series, Game 6, the home run that really put it away. He rounds the bases, lets it all out. That is the signature Mookie Betts moment in a Dodger uniform right now. That being said, this is a superstar who on any given night is going to do something that makes you say, wow. And his walk-off home run on ring night, especially given the circumstances of his health, certainly a top 3 moment, has to be of his Dodgers career so far.
Yeah, when I think about top moments, I tend to think offensively, but you mentioned it there with the 2020 World Series home run, but he also had that great catch, Kyle, in the National League Championship Series in that same year, the shortened season of 2020. But you brought up a really good point when you're talking about Mookie Betts and what he just did on Friday evening. Having lost 20 pounds and not even knowing, honestly, if Mookie was going to be in the lineup for the domestic opener on Thursday, having lost all of that weight, does that make it even more impressive to you that he was able to do that in the biggest moment?
Absolutely. Again, Mookie Betts is not the biggest guy. He's always had more wiry strength than you give him credit for. He's always had more power than you think, especially to his pull side. But given the circumstances, he's not 100%. He's not in peak physical form right now. He's down to 157 pounds. And this is not a guy who has a whole lot of weight to lose. And for him to go out and do that and still demonstrate the power he did in the big moments, a multi-home run game, there's very, very, very few people in Major League Baseball talented enough to drop 20 pounds and still hit 2 bombs against a big league hitter. It's incredible how talented he is. And we say that every year. He does things that just make your jaw drop. This is just the latest chapter of that.
Yeah, he's just a ridiculous athlete all the way around. Wait till he gets all of the weight back, even more strength. All right, let's talk about Roki Sasaki. Mookie Betts, of course, is a veteran. He's a guy that knows what he's doing. Roki Sasaki, Kyle, is just getting his feet wet at the big league level. Now, we have talked about, and Ken Rosenthal said it best, that this is a man that is a work in progress, right? Like, he is not a finished product. He's very raw. What did you notice from his domestic start?
The main thing is you can see it. He's overthrowing right now. He's very, very amped up. He's a young kid trying to make a good impression. You have to keep in mind, and I got to cover Roki Sasaki and write about him a lot during his time in Japan with Baseball America, and same with Yoshinobu Yamamoto. These were 2 very different pitchers coming out. Yamamoto was much more polished, had a lot more time on the mound, really understood sequencing, command. Roki Sasaki has the more explosive stuff of the 2, but he's much more raw. You have to remember, he didn't get a lot of mound time in Japan, missed some time with injuries, never threw more than 130 innings in a season. He's 23 years old. This is not someone who's coming over after winning multiple Sawamura awards like Yoshinobu Yamamoto. He's still developing as a pitcher. His peak is still to come. And it's probably going to come more in that 25-26 range. He's a very, very talented pitcher with a great arm, but he is not a finished product. You will see him spray fastballs. You will see him struggle to locate his secondary stuff. He still needs to build up and get to that point where he can consistently give you 6-7 innings a night every time out. This is a young pitcher who is still developing, and it's going to be a work in progress.
Yeah, I would caution people to not already start bashing Roki Sasaki. I mean, this is a young man
Oh,
who's learning how to pitch at the big league level in the United States. He's a very unfinished, unpolished product, but obviously the Dodgers have seen something special in him. What was interesting was the emotion that I saw from Roki Sasaki. Sometimes we forget that these people are players, or people rather, before they're players and before they're pitchers. And it almost looked like he had some tears in the dugout, perhaps not, but he was definitely a little shaken up. Dave Roberts obviously going out to the mound to talk to him prior to his exit. What do you make of the emotion that was shown?
again, this is a young kid who has a lot of expectations on him. There's a lot of pressure on Roki Sasaki. A lot of people crowned him already as, the next big thing, the next great pitcher, and he has the talent to be. Let's be clear, when he's right, it's a fastball up to 102 with explosive late life. It's the best splitter in the world. It's a slider that's continually getting better. And when he's right, he throws plenty of strikes. But again, just like lots of other young, talented, big arm pitchers, it's a process. Learning how to sequence, learning how to command all your stuff against big league hitters. It takes time. He's 2 starts into his big league career. He needs time. I encourage everyone to be patient. The emotion, again, there's a lot of pressure on him. There's all eyes on him, and he expects a lot from himself. He's been through a lot in his personal life, as well as his professional career dealing with injuries. He's always found a way to fight through it and come out on top. And I believe he will fight through this and come out on top once again. It's just a process, and it's going to take some time.
Yeah, let's not forget that Clayton Kershaw was optioned back to AAA after being called up, and that is a first ballot Hall of Famer. Not to say Roki Sasaki is going to follow in Clayton Kershaw's footsteps, but let's give this kid a bit of a pass. All right, much more to come with Kyle Glaser. We're talking about the Dodgers' next opponent, the Atlanta Braves, and we're also talking, of course, about those San Diego Padres. But first, a quick word from Spot and Tango.
Alanna, we love our pups dearly, and we want to shout out Spot and Tango for taking care of our pups with their unkibble. They are a game changer.
A game changer is right, Scott. And you know anything about me, you know that I love dogs and I want them to live forever. My own rescue pup, Bentley, is my passion, and she loves Spot and Tango. Thank goodness. It's 100% human grade ingredients, so you know exactly what your dog is getting. Oftentimes in other forms of dog food, you have no idea what's in it. It's a bunch of fillers. She loves it. It helps keep her healthy. It's perfectly customized for her age, her breed, her weight, and her level of activity. Makes me happy to give it to her.
And you don't have to go to the store. They'll deliver it right to your door. Spot and Tango is offering an exclusive deal for the FT network. For a limited time, go to spotandtango.com/Val. Use code FAL for 50% off your first order. That's spotandtango.com/Val, code FAL for 50% off your first order. One more time for the pups out there. Code FAL at spotandtango.com/Val.
All right, we appreciate it. I know that Kyle has some pups. I have a pup, obviously, and we appreciate Spot and Tango being a part of the program here. All right, let's talk about the Atlanta Braves, Kyle, because that is going to be, an upcoming opponent, of course, in the National League. That is a formidable opponent. You have basically been their advanced scout a little bit. So let's talk about how this series is going to come up as far as that is concerned. What do you like about the Braves? What are the holes?
Well, right now, the Braves offense did not perform well in the season opening series against the Padres, excuse me. They scored only 7 runs in 4 games. A lot of that, though, just had to do with the Padres bullpen being absolutely dominant. We know this is one of the best bullpens in the game, and they got the better of the Braves. And the Braves offense is not 100% right now. Ronald Acuna still is yet to come back from his torn ACL. Sean Murphy's out with a cracked rib. So I wouldn't read too much into the Braves' offense's struggles against the Padres. They're not 100%. And again, the Padres bullpen just went to work and did what they do best. The main area for concern for the Braves is the middle of this bullpen. The Braves were tied or leading the Padres in the 7th inning or later each of the first 3 games of this opening series, and they lost all 3. Even in the series finale, the Padres were up 2-0 in the 7th. The Braves were still in striking distance, and then the bullpen let it get away, became a 5-0 Padres win. Right now, the Braves have a good closer in Raisel Iglesias. Pierce Johnson is a really good setup man, but the middle of this bullpen has a lot of holes right now, and it's going to be a problem area for them. We've seen them have bad bullpens in the past. In 2019, calling it a dumpster fire is too kind to dumpster fires. But Alex Anthopoulos went out. He acquired Shane Green. He acquired Chris Martin. He acquired Mark Melancon at the deadline and beefed it up. But any team playing the Braves right now is going to have an advantage. Their bullpen in the middle is very, very weak. And until they address it, it's going to be an area that other teams can take advantage of, including a Dodgers offense that, as we saw against the Tigers, can definitely take advantage against some bullpens late in games.
Yeah, you talk about the starting matchup. When you look at the Braves and the Dodgers, Kyle, it's Glasnow versus Holmes, May versus Snell, and Sale rather, and then Snell versus Lopez. They're going to miss Nick Pivetta, but Nick Pivetta looked really, really good in his outing for the Padres. What did you make of it?
It was really, really impressive and good to see. Nick Pivetta has been one of those kind of confounding pitchers throughout his career where the peripherals look great, a lot of strikeouts, not a lot of walks, but his ERAs have always been below average to league average, and one of his big issues was the home run ball. The Padres made a big bet that by getting him out of the AL East and into the more pitcher friendly ballparks, the NL West, getting him with one of the game's best pitching coaches in Ruben Niebla, and also putting him in front of a better defense. Let's not forget, the Red Sox defense has been atrocious for years now. I always felt bad for all their starting pitchers having to pitch in front of that group, whereas the Padres have a really good defense. So better ballparks, great pitching coach, better defense. They were counting on Nick Pivetta really taking a tick up with all those factors. And he certainly looked the part. Again, it's only one start. You don't want to get too far ahead of yourself, but 7 innings, 1 hit, no walks. The curveball was really working. The fastball was working at the top of the zone. Really, everything was working. And look, the Padres know that when Yu Darvish comes back, they have a great top three. Yu Darvish, Dylan Cease, Michael King. If they can get that fourth dominant starter, Nick Pivetta, all of a sudden they become very, very scary come postseason time.
Kyle, I was watching the game last night on ESPN with the San Diego Padres, of course. And one thing that stood out to me among just how good the Padres are on paper, certainly, is the maturity level of Manny Machado. ESPN had him mic'd up early on in the game. It was a quick inning. It was a 1-2-3 inning with Pivetta on the mound. But there just seemed to be a maturity in the way that he answered some questions. Obviously, he's a father now. He's co-owner of the soccer team there in San Diego. He's had a lot of time under his belt. Is that a fair assessment to say that he's grown up a bit?
I think it's fair to say he's become more and more of a leader, and he really established himself during the shortened 2020 season as sort of the guy everyone would rally around. But each year we've seen a little bit more leadership attributes out of him. He flew the entire team back, well, most of the team back from spring training to go to one of the soccer games earlier in spring. Just a great team bonding moment. Within the clubhouse, he is no doubt the guy that everyone looks to for leadership. When things are going great, he's absolutely the type of person, everyone get on my back, I'll carry you, and he does it really well. The issue has been sometimes when things aren't going great, he can get a little bit dour, and that's where there's been issues in the past. But he's growing out of that slowly but surely. And we're also seeing the big thing for Manny Machado is more effort on the field. It's no secret. There have been times where he plays very nonchalant. You'll remember his Johnny Hustle comments during his time with the Dodgers that alienated a lot of people. But even just this last series, we saw him execute a perfect double steal, stealing third base with a left-handed hitter up. Just a great heads-up baseball play right there. Busting his tail down the line on a sac fly to get in on a bang-bang play with a great slide. Even last year, we saw a little more effort, intensity, focus, and hustle. And look, his talent is prodigious. When you add that on top of it, in some ways, you're getting the best version of Manny Machado we've seen and the most mature one as a leader, both on and off the field.
I have to ask you right now, the Dodgers and the Padres, of course, look pretty good up against one another. Dodgers 5-0, of course, with the 2 games in Tokyo, but the Padres are undefeated as well. The Padres, in your opinion, and Jerks and Profar had said it too. He thought that if the Padres would have gotten out of the DS, that they would have won the World Series. And I agree with them. And I said that as much. I said, whoever wins the DS goes to the World Series and wins it. Do you think that's a true statement from Jerks and Profar?
Absolutely. Dave Roberts has said it. I think there's
Yeah.
no question that those were the 2 best teams in the postseason last year. Once the Phillies got eliminated, the Padres and Dodgers were the 2 best teams in the postseason. The Mets were not as talented as either of them. The Yankees were not as talented as either of them. No one in the American League was. So there's no question in my mind that whoever won that series was going to win the World Series. And you give the Dodgers credit. They went out, their pitchers threw 24 consecutive scoreless innings, came up with some big hits when they needed them against some really good pitchers. You tip your cap. The Dodgers came out and did what they needed to do, but there's no question that those were the 2 best teams remaining in the postseason field last year, and whoever won that DS, I do believe, was going to win the World Series, like Jerks and Profar, like Dave Roberts, like a lot of very, very smart baseball people.
Do you think that they're the 2 best teams in the National League this year? I mean, you look at the National League West, and they are a very good team, minus the Colorado Rockies. I mean, I think any of those teams, we could very well have, 3 teams in the NL West going to the postseason. Are the Padres the team to beat if it's not the Dodgers?
I still put the Diamondbacks ahead. You have to remember the Diamondbacks were the highest scoring offense in baseball
Mhm.
last year, and that was with Corbin Carroll not hitting for the first half of the season. Their issue is on the pitching side, but now they've added Corbin Burns. It's one of the best 1-2s in baseball with Burns and Gallen. Merrill Kelly's healthy. Eduardo Rodriguez is healthy. We've seen this Diamondbacks offense can put up 5, 6, 7 runs in a hurry. The Dodgers witnessed that firsthand during the 2023 NLDS. We even just saw it yesterday against the Cubs. They're down 6-2 in the eighth. They scored 8 runs in the bottom of the eighth inning. They bat around. This is a dangerous, dynamic offense. Now you add some improved starting pitching on top of it. I think the Diamondbacks are not only the second best team in the National League West, I think they're one of the top 5 teams in baseball. I really believe the Dodgers, Phillies, Braves, and Diamondbacks are the top 4 teams in baseball. And there's some separation between them and everyone else. And if the Padres keep playing the way they played against the Braves, smart, aggressive, complete baseball, they'll work their way up into that top, 6, 7 as well.
And we had a conversation with Ken Rosenthal last week about how since, the New York Yankees don't have Garrett Cole for the season, they don't have Luis Heel right now, obviously the National League Rookie of the Year. You have to say, I would think that the National League is way stronger than the American League. I think there's 5 really good teams, Kyle, in the senior circuit that could really prove some damage. You mentioned the 4 in the National League: Braves, Phillies, Dodgers, Padres, Diamondbacks. That's pretty scary when you think about it. It's a minefield in that first round.
Absolutely. And I'd throw the Cubs in there as well with the addition of Kyle Tucker. That's a really good lineup top to bottom. I do believe the top 4 teams in baseball reside in the National League, and 6 of the top 7 teams reside in the National League. I really do think the National League, when you look at the star power, the overall depth, the quality of teams, it's the vastly superior league this year. And again, this is cyclical. There's been some years the AL's been the vastly better league, but right now, just where the talent lies and the quality of the teams and the depth lies, it's the NL by a pretty good margin over the AL.
No question about that. Now, what do you think about the scheduling that the 2 biggest rivals right now in the National League, because I don't think there's a rivalry as big between the Dodgers and the Giants as there used to be. It could come back, of course, but the Dodgers and the Padres don't play each other until the middle of June. What are we doing here?
Certainly strange. Recent years, they always have an April matchup. I've covered most of them. Definitely a little strange, a scheduling quirk, and I do think it is a little bit of a missed opportunity, just given that right now, these are 2 exceptionally high quality teams that have met in the postseason 3 of the last 5 years. And look, there is no love lost between these fan bases. I can check out anyone's Twitter mentions, and you'll see that. But even the 2 teams, while again, there's certainly an element of mutual respect for each other's talent, they've gotten under each other's skin plenty of times over the years. I really go back to 2021, the extra inning thriller that was, I believe it was 12 or 13 innings. And afterward, Dave Roberts said, tonight felt like a rivalry. It was really the first time Padres Dodgers felt like a rivalry as opposed to an annual shellacking, which is what the Dodgers Padres series was for the previous decade. These are 2 teams that, look, have a lot of history now. There's no love lost between them. And I do think it is a missed opportunity not having these teams to showcase right out the gate for Major League Baseball.
Mike Shildt, manager of the San Diego Padres, likes to keep a lot of stuff in-house. How do you think his managerial style, I understand he hasn't been there for very long, but he's been in this game for a long time. How do you think that reflects on his team, and why is it a good fit?
Mike Shildt has been the perfect fit for this Padres team. The first thing you have to understand about Mike Shildt is he's a baseball lifer. He was a high school coach. He was a scout. He was a minor league coach. He was a minor league manager. He worked his way up. He has such an encyclopedic knowledge of every aspect of the game and all the little things that make a difference. He also has a little bit of a chip on his shoulder because he had to work his way up, and it took a long time. And you've seen the Padres really take on and embody his personality. They play with an edge. They play hard. They play fast. They do all the little things that make a big difference. A lot of first to thirds. They stole 9 bases in the opening series against the Braves. There was an inning where they hustled down the line to beat out 2 double play balls, kept the inning going, turned into an RBI single, as opposed to the inning ending a few batters earlier. They're just doing all the little things that add up over the course of the game. And that's very much Mike Shildt. He's going to be aggressive. He's going to go right at you. And they're going to not waste anything. They're not going to leave anything on the field. They're going to run out every ground ball. They're going to make great defensive plays. They're going to be focused and attentive. And ultimately, Mike Shildt has been the perfect fit for this Padres team. They have absolutely taken on his personality in all the right ways, playing with an edge, playing smart, playing fast, doing the little things and the big things that make a difference.
One of the best owners in the game, unfortunately, is no longer with us, and Peter Seidler passing away after a long battle with cancer. And the game is worse without him in it, Kyle. He loved this team so much, and he loved the community so much. And he told AJ Preller, do what you need to do. You know, he wanted to put a winning product on the field while he was still around. Unfortunately, that did not happen in terms of a World Series championship. But how does the direction of the team and the front office go now in Peter's absence, especially with everything going on with the ownership of the team?
So John Seidler, one of Peter's brothers, officially took control of the team, and everything that's being said, both publicly and privately, is that they expect to maintain the status quo. They expect to maintain top 10 payrolls. They expect to maintain, all the elements of the ballpark that have drawn 3 million fans year after year after year and turned Petco Park into one of the best home field advantages in baseball. And that's what everyone's hoping for. Padres went through this back in the late 2000s when John and Becky Morse got divorced. The Padres at that point were a perennial contender. Once the divorce happened, payroll got stripped, they traded away everyone. And, it was a decade in the wilderness after that. The Dodgers have experienced it too with Frank and Jamie McCourt. Anytime there's ownership discord and a lawsuit, it can result in some really ugly things. But so far, the Padres have said everything will be the status quo. Regarding Shildt Seidler's lawsuit, we just have to wait and see what happens. I know everyone wants answers right now about exactly how everything's going to play out, but the legal process takes time. Until it does, though, John Seidler and Eric Greupner and everyone involved, the Padres have really turned themselves into a first-class organization over the years under Peter Seidler's direction, and all points are that they're going to maintain that.
All right. It's going to be great to see the Padres and the Dodgers hook up finally in mid-June. Two teams very much in the thick of things in the National League West. Padres have a lot to prove that they're not the little brother. Dodgers would love nothing more than to go back-to-back with another World Series championship. Let's get to Last Licks. All right, everybody, let me introduce you to Chip. This is such a good boy. Look at that picture. Find me a better picture and a more dapper little boy. This is Chip. He's 1 year old. He's looking for an active family. He's great with kids. He's great with other dogs. He's a little timid at first, but he has every bone in his body, is a sweet one. He's looking for an adopter. He has his first round of vaccines, and then he's getting his second round in about 3 or 4 days, and then we are getting him neutered when he is done with his vaccine. So if you're interested in learning more about Chip, he's a mixed breed, good boy, was found abandoned in the West Covina area. Please hit us up, GoodreadsGuardian.org, or hit me up on social. You know how much I care about the pups, Kyle, and I'm so grateful for you for adopting one of our pups.
Absolutely. I can't emphasize enough how great of an organization Goodreads Guardian is and the work Alanna is doing. I encourage everyone, please, please, please support, donate, adopt, anything you can do. A few years ago, Alanna was able to point me to a really, really sweet boy, 1-year-old male pit bull mix who needed a home. We brought him in, and he's been a tremendous addition to our family. He's BFFs with my 4-year-old daughter. Our family wouldn't be the same without him. And Goodreads Guardian really is an amazing organization. Please, 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 I encourage everyone to donate, do anything you can. I've witnessed it firsthand. It can make a great difference. And we're so happy to have our latest addition to the family through Alanna.
Oh, I appreciate that very much. Thank you very much. And I hope that Duke is doing well. I wanted to, before we say goodbye, I want to get to a super chat here. IB Stroke and super chat $2. We appreciate you. Great solo show, Alanna, with Kyle. Clint, get well soon. Yes, Clinton's feeling a little under the weather, but he's going to be just fine. Again, thanks for being here. You can catch Kyle on Friar Territory, and Clint and I will be back on Dodger Territory on Thursday with a brand new episode. Don't forget to like us, subscribe, all of the things. Before we say goodbye, though, I wanted to pay our respects and give out condolences to the family of Nancy B. Heffley, the long-time wonderful Dodger organist. I mean, she was a Dodger organist for decades. Unfortunately, she passed away recently. Her son had posted a notice there on Facebook that his mom had passed. And while it's a huge loss to all of us, she is reunited with her long loved Bill, who passed away several years ago. So our thoughts and prayers are with Nancy B. and the family, and we appreciate you guys for being with us. Kyle, thank you so much for being here. Appreciate you. And again, catch everything Friar related with Kyle, and Clint and I will be back on Thursday. Bye, guys.